Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Joseph Spivey. I am very excited to be teaching this course, this first-year seminar course on separating sense from nonsense. So I'm really excited about it. And what I want to do in this video is to share with you a little bit of information from the syllabus. The syllabus, you'll get an email about it. So you hopefully have already received the syllabus. It's also available on Moodle if you ever need to access it again. I will also say that this video does not does not make a substitute for reading it yourself. So what I'm hoping that you'll do is you'll download the syllabus and you'll have it open. And as you watch this video, anytime you got a question you want to read more, just hit pause on that video and go ahead and take a look at what the syllabus has to say. Okay. So all right, let's take a look at the syllabus. All right, that was not as smooth as I would have wanted, but you know, it's just one of those things. So here I've got the syllabus pulled up. Again, you'll find it on Moodle. And I just want to take you through some stuff so we can get a sense of what this class has in store for you. So first of all, here's some, right, this is when the class meets. You probably know when that is. I do want to mention that where it meets. So the 1130 section will meet in RSRCA 125. That's in the new arts building. So as you head in those main double doors, you'll sort of hang a left and you should be able to find the room 125 from there. Section I will be in STL 220. Now that is a brand new room that I have not seen yet, so I hope it's awesome. It's in the library. I think it's upstairs in the library is what I've been told. So plan to get there a few minutes early so you can find which classroom this is. I'm really looking forward to exploring that new space. I will say that this semester is different because of COVID and because of the social distancing requirements. So our plan right now is for us to meet in person on Mondays, and on Wednesdays and Fridays for us to be Zooming, doing small group work. Much of the structure of this class has to do with us doing mathematics in small groups, and it doesn't work very well in a socially distanced, masked sort of way. So what we'll be doing is on Wednesdays and Fridays we'll be Zooming. That's my plan for now. Certainly that could change based on a variety of factors, but I just wanted to give you a sense of that. When we meet in person, we'll be meeting in these two classrooms, and when we meet on Zoom, I'll provide a link to you for that. Here's my office hours. So there they are. I will also say that the college has asked that faculty members have office hours virtually. So you can use my Zoom ID link here. I'll also post a link to this to Moodle, and I'll give you more information about Moodle later on in another video. So also, I just want to explain office hours. Office hours are your time to come and ask me questions about whatever, how class is going, stuff you don't understand. Any of those things are great excuses to come to office hours. I hope that you will come to office hours at some point, even though we're going to be doing it virtually. So also, these are the times that I set aside that I'm available on Zoom to answer your questions, to have available for office hours. I recognize that that's not going to fit with everyone's schedule. So if you want to come to office hours, but these times don't work, please email me, and we'll try really hard to set up a time that that does fit within your schedule, right? So again, these are times that I'm guaranteed to be available. I could certainly make myself available at other times. You just need to let me know, please. So let's see. I do also want to tell you about my email policy. I typically check email once each weekday. If I check it more often than that, then I get overwhelmed. And so I try really hard to reply to each email I've received at that time, right? So it is my hope that I can respond to your emails the next day or maybe the day after, depending upon when you sent them. Note that I don't check emails over a weekend generally, so that I can maintain sort of a separation between my family life and my work life. Just to let you know, right, about what that's going to look like. Right. So this course is all about how mathematicians separate sense from nonsense. And this course overview was given in the descriptions that you read when you registered for classes. So basically, we're looking at what does mathematics look like? How do we do mathematics? How do mathematicians know what's true? And how do they find out what that is? We'll be looking at a couple of texts. So we'll be looking at a mathematician's lament. We'll be looking at truth, reasoning, certainty, and proof. And the good news is both of these are freely available, so you don't have to pay for any of that. And I'll distribute those in class when we get to them. Right? And just a note, this is going to be a little bit different than other math classes you may be used to, in that most of our math instruction is going to be you working in groups on math stuff, right? Instead of me lecturing, which is what you might be used to, you're going to be doing some work together with your peers. And I'll be helping support your learning in that fashion. Okay. Here are the goals of the course. The goals of the course are super important, and we'll keep coming back to these again and again and again. Number one is about recognizing and understanding mathematical patterns. Next, we want to be able to create and articulate clear, well-reasoned mathematical arguments, and we'll talk a lot more about what that looks like later on. We want to describe the discipline of mathematics, its structure and its primary modes of inquiry, drawing on personal experience. So we'll be doing mathematics, and that's going to help us be able to describe what mathematics is. And we also want to be able to successfully collaborate with other students to discover mathematical ideas, right? So those are the four sort of goals of the course. There are also 4 capacities for these first-year classes, for these first-year seminar classes. These capacities are growth mindset, identity and perspective, critical reasoning, and academic reading and writing. And we'll continue to come back and mention those again and again and again. So you'll see those coming back through the course as we begin to have assignments that develop those capacities. Okay, and you can read later on the means for determining whether those goals are met. I do want to highlight the fact that this classroom is a place where we all will be treated with respect, regardless of age, background, belief, ethnicity, gender identity, gender expressions, national origins, religious affiliations, sexual orientations, ability, all of those sorts of things. So I want to make sure that you are respectful of others, and I will do the same. I do want to just point out that if you would like me to address you by an alternate name or gender pronoun, please let me know, and I'm happy to do that for you. All right. So Title IX. This is information about our Title IX. Title IX is about like sexual or gender-based harassment, violence, and discrimination. So I'll go ahead and highlight that. These are laws that dictate how Wofford needs to operate in regards to those things to make sure that it's a safe place, safe from sexual and gender-based harassment, violence, and discrimination. So if I receive information about that, then I am required to share that information. And I just wanted to let you know about that, right? So if you do experience any of that, I encourage you to reach out to me, and we can figure out a way together to report that to the proper individuals. But I just wanted to let you know that if you choose to share that, I am required to report. Okay, and I hope that you'll feel comfortable doing that if you have experienced these things, because those things are not okay, and we want to take steps to remedy them if that sort of thing is happening. As far as accommodations go, Wofford College will give accommodations to students with documented disabilities. If you are in that boat, if you would like to request accommodations, you need to reach out to Accessibility Services, and the information you'll find in this section. Again, if you are in that boat, feel free to pause this video, go take a look at it, go ahead and make that email now so you don't forget. But accommodations are not given unless a student reaches out and follows these steps. Right? And if you have any questions about it, of course, let me know, please. I'm happy to help. So technology, we will be using Moodle. That's where class assignments, important dates, other things are posted. There will be a separate video about introducing you to Moodle to give you a sense of what that looks like. I also want to say that, this is not a class in which we really care that you can multiply 12 times 47. Like, I don't care if you can do that or not. That's not what I consider to be math. I think that there's a lot more thinking that goes into it aside from that. So if you need to do routine calculations, calculator, internet are great resources for that. And we're also going to be using Zoom on our virtual class meetings. Okay, and we may do other technologies depending upon how things go. We're just gonna have to be flexible, and we'll sort of figure things out as we go. Those are the ones that I know of right now. All right. We've already talked a little bit about this. Most of the instruction will be you working on authentic mathematics in small groups. and then us sharing our answers with the larger class and discussing those. We'll also have some large group discussions when we're talking about things like what makes good mathematical writing and other things. So Mondays generally will be discussion days, and Wednesdays and Fridays will be those small group days. So that's what most of the instructional format will look like. And I just want you to get a sense of that. We'll see that on the first and second days of class. So you get a really good sense of what that looks like very early in the class. All right, so I do want to talk a little bit about the absence policy. It's important that you show up to class when you can, right? Because that participation is going to be important. That is the way that you learn mathematics, is by doing mathematics. And so we need to sort of get into that practice, get into that habit. And you can't be doing it if you're not here. However, this semester is weird and different. Some of us will get sick. And when we're sick, we will not be coming to class. So in order to protect the larger the larger Wofford community, in order to protect our most vulnerable people and everyone, right? And there may be technology glitches. There's going to be things that crop up. So what my absence policy is this: I want you to make your best effort to come to class, whether that's in person or virtual. Okay. If you are sick, do not come to class, because you put everyone at risk if you are sick, right? I will extend grace and leniency to students who need to miss class for legitimate reasons like sickness, job interview, that sort of thing, okay? And I'll work with students who miss class to make up work. So there's not really a penalty for this. Again, you just come to class when you can, and if you're sick, don't come to class, right? There's not a penalty for not coming to class, as long as you're coming to class when you can, okay? If you know that you're going to be absent, it would be helpful to communicate that ahead of time, if you know that you're going to be absent in advance. One thing that I want to tell you about is I will use Starfish to communicate with the college when you have 2 or more absences, right? So that's sort of a Wofford policy. That's weird. Okay. Sorry, I highlighted something on this one. It's not showing up there. I don't know what's going on. Oh, well. It's because the screen share. We're going to pause and we'll come right back. It's exciting. It doesn't give me an opportunity to pause. It gives me an opportunity to stop. It's really exciting. Let's see if I can do this instead. I'll try the screen share one more time. Thanks for your patience. All right, looks better. This sort of thing is going to happen all the time to us, and we're just going to work through it. No big deal, right? Sorry. So Starfish is a system that keeps track of student absences and student concerns. It's a way that we sort of monitor the well-being of students and make sure that everyone is okay. And it's a place for us to share concerns if we think if there's something up with a student. So just to let you know, I will use Starfish to communicate when a student has 2 or more absences. Right. Academic integrity, this is about cheating and that sort of thing. So we will work cooperatively in groups during class, and I want you to work together outside of class, but your final solution sets need to be made up of your own work, which is written in your own words. So you don't really need to collaborate on that part of it, right? Writing up your solution set, that needs to be done by yourself. If you were helped in a substantial way, you need to note your helper's name on the assignment in some way. If you copy from another student or another source, that will result in failing grades for all students involved. Okay, so don't do that. Sorry, I'm gonna highlight that. All right. And that will also be considered a violation of the college's policy on academic honesty. And so that would not be good. This is super, super important. In fact, it's so important, it's gonna get a different color highlight. You are not allowed to consult internet sources to get answers to investigations or to gain a better understanding of a topic. I want to know what you think, not what some person on the internet thinks, right? So you're not allowed to consult the internet or other sources in order to get answers to stuff, even if it's just trying to learn more about stuff. If you get an itch to go and do that, check with me first. There certainly may be times where it's appropriate to do so, but in general, you are not permitted to do that unless you talk with me first and we identify together that there's a really good reason to be doing outside research on the internet. Okay, so I want to be really clear about that. If you were to look at the internet for this sort of thing, that would be considered a breach of the honor code. Okay, let's see. There's our texts. We've already talked about it. Again, these are freely available. Awesome. It's not going to update again. That is just lovely. All right, well, we'll try again. I apologize. One of those things. It's useful to know that now so that I can maybe try to figure out what's going on before we get to class so that this does not happen in class, hopefully. Okay, so you need to have a notebook for this class, and that's where you will record all your work on the investigations and anything else. I'm not going to collect it, but you need to keep it up to date. So your notebook should contain responses to all the questions that we're working on in class. It should contain additional questions that you have, notes on discussion points, mistakes, right? This is a big one, right? So it should also contain your mistakes, and that's, oh my goodness, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try again. Let's do a little one. Boop, boop, boop. Right. That's a little bit different than you've seen before. If you've got a mistake, don't scratch it all out, right? Just say, oh, that was a mistake, and then come and sort of fix your mistake later on. That's a part of your learning journey and should be recorded, okay? So every part of that learning journey should be recorded in your notebook. Okay, so there will be several assignments that ask you to reflect on items in your notebook. One will ask you about mistakes that you have recorded in your notebook. And if you don't have those recorded, it's going to make it much more difficult for you to do those assignments. Also, your notebook constitutes your first draft on solution sets, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One thing that I will say is Genius Scan is a free app available on smartphones that allows you to take scans of your work. So anytime you turn in something and it's sort of mathy, feel free to write down the solution, take a picture of it with Genius Scan, and submit that document to me, right? So if you got questions about Genius Scan or how to get it, please let me know, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction. We will have some reflective writing homework assignments. The other big part is solution sets. There's a whole other handout about what a solution set looks like and how you'll be graded on it. So I won't get into that for now. This is a great opportunity to pause the recording and read through this information on assignments. But again, there will be more detail later. One thing I wanted to point out is is this information right here, right? So things are going to come up. So twice during the semester, I will accept a late assignment up to 48 hours after the due date. There is no such thing as notebook quizzes, so you can ignore that. So I'll make sure to fix that later. So ignore that with no grade penalty. Okay. After that, the late assignments will incur a grade penalty unless there's some sort of extenuating circumstance that we can talk about. Okay. So there's a separate handout on student responsibilities, but basically I want you to come to class prepared, having done the required reading, and you need to work with your class, with your group actively. This is a great opportunity to pause and read more about the student responsibilities. All right, awesome. Participation is important as well, and you will be graded on your participation. So this is how I'll be grading your participation. It's got lots of good information here in the syllabus. But basically, you just need to come ready to learn and just be ready to work, right? Whether that's in class or in our Zoom sessions, okay? So I'm going to be using a variety of things to grade your participation. I'm going to be using, oh, it's not here. Well, let's see. I'm going to be using, here's the way that I'm going to grade that. Well, it doesn't see that. Well, I'll just tell you. So basically, there will be peer review so your peers will say how you did in the group work. There will also be self-reflections, and I'll use those things to get a picture of what your participation looks like, and then periodically I'll give you a participation grade to tell you, how you're doing, and if there are any issues, how we can get better. Okay, so you'll get good feedback, pretty regular feedback about what that participation looks like for you. And if there's any issues, I'll make sure to bring those to your attention really early on to make sure that you have enough time to correct those and get your full participation points. I want everybody to get full participation points, right? That is my goal for everyone. And I'll structure the class in such a way as to really try my best to support you in that. All right. Again, this is a great opportunity to pause the video and come and read about exactly the sorts of things that I'll be looking for when I grade your participation. Okay. All right, here's how the weights of your grades will be. Solution sets will constitute 40% of your grade, writing assignments will be 35% of your grade, and participation will be 25% of your grade. Okay, and this is a table that tells you how I'll be awarding letter grades. Yep. There's also going to be a schedule posted. I'll post that on Moodle as well. That's a pretty rough schedule because it's hard to get a sense of how fast we'll progress through the topics. But I will post that to Moodle, and you can take a look at it when you get a chance. Okay. Here are some of the topics we'll be covering. These are awesome. Doubt and truth in mathematics. What is mathematics? We're going to do that on the first day of class, and we'll keep returning to that as we go. Undecidable statements in mathematics, which are super cool and super weird. The structure of mathematics and the primary modes of inquiry. Again, that's one of your big assignments. We will probably talk about complex numbers, square to -1, that sort of thing. And we'll also talk about what makes mathematics writing effective. Right, so those are some of the topics that we'll be covering in this class. All right, this is super important. It's health concerns, right? We got to talk about this during this semester. Every student needs to adhere, every member of the Wofford community needs to adhere to the Wofford Together plan. I will be doing the same. So masks are important and you need to wear them. You need to read this carefully later on. Your mask, but it's important enough that I will read it out loud, okay? Your mask should be on before you enter any building, and it should remain on until you remain in a building, while you remain in a building. You should stay 6 feet apart from other people in our classroom. If you forget your mask, there's a small supply of masks in each building that you can go if you have forgotten it. Students who come to class without a mask will be required to leave class immediately to acquire one before they are permitted to return. Students are not permitted to remove their masks in the classroom, and they should refrain from scratching eyes or mouth underneath the mask. According to CDC guidelines, your mask should be tight-fitting, it should cover your mouth and nose, and it should not have a valve. Those guidelines will be enforced in this class. So if you're wearing a mask that does not meet the guidelines, you will be required to leave and acquire a mask that does meet the guidelines before you are permitted to return. This is super important. Don't come to class if you have any COVID symptoms, or if you've been around someone else who you think may have COVID, okay? It's not worth the risk to your life and to the lives of those around you. If you think you have COVID, please report that to health services immediately. This is the way that we're gonna protect one another and stay safe. All right. The other thing that I want to mention is just that it won't scroll, so you can read this on your own later on. This semester is going to be really weird in a lot of ways, and there are things that are going to pop up that none of us could expect. So I hope that you will be flexible and patient with me as I make mistakes and continue to try to figure out the technology myself. And I will try to be flexible and patient with you as well, because I understand that things will pop up for you as well. If there's an issue, please communicate it with me. I'd love to hear it. And if you have an idea of how to make class go better, please let me know. Right? This is all very new for all of us. So if we all communicate it together, I think we'll run a much better shot of having a really successful class. So I want to hear that feedback from you. So please let me know about it. So thank you so much. This would be the end of this very long video. Apologies for how long it is. I hope that you will read the syllabus carefully on your own. In another video, we'll talk a little bit about Moodle. And I really look forward to seeing all of you on the first day of class and after that. So if you got any questions, please bring them to the first day of class. I will take questions that first day of class, and I'll take questions on the syllabus and other things on the second day of class as well, in case there's anything that I covered too quickly or that you had a question about. I hope that you are well. I really look forward to having this journey with you about separating sense from nonsense. All right, thanks.